Hello and welcome to the San Diego ATD Get Good with Articulate Storyline Workshop. And happy spring solstice or spring equinox. Happy spring equinox. This is the day in which the light and the dark share equal billing. And if you are not a vampire, you can enjoy even more daylight every day. I am John Morley. I'm an external instructional design consultant. And if I can help you with a project, I am putting my email address right into the chat window. For a quick word from our sponsors, San Diego ATD and ISBI SoCal, let's talk about what's coming up here next. Next Wednesday, ATD has Will Thalheimer talking about. He'll be enlightening us about learning evaluation, empowering learning by focusing on competitive advantage. Will, really sharp guy, and although he is a very pleasant and nice person, he is also not reluctant to call bullshit wherever he sees it. So there's a lot of it out there. So this should be a very enlightening experience for us all. Then the first Tuesday of the month is time for Lunch and Learn with ISPI SoCal. And this is with Josh Cavalier, who will be talking about prompt strategies for learning and development. And if you know the name Josh Cavalier, you know that Josh Cavalier knows AI, and it's what all the cool kids are talking about now. So be there or be square. And if it's a first Tuesday, that's typically followed by a first Friday, and that means ISPI is doing a roundtable. In this case, we will be talking about a training and learning impediments article facilitated by Jen Buckley. Busy day that first Friday because there is a Lunch and Learn Zoom meeting in which an issue of the day is discussed. In this case, Zoom meetings to record or not. So bring your ideas, your opinions, and your prejudices and have at it. Facilitated by Ruben Poon, who is not quite as crazy as his haircut, and he will facilitate success of that particular situation. And then again, third Thursday of next month, I will be here. But more importantly, Ron Price will be here because
Wow.
there we go. That
I
that
just read it like, whoa.
that is the appropriate because Jody knows he runs Yukon Learning, which is the training company that does work for articulates, so training from articulate. We are going straight to the source here. This is
Yeah.
the guy who knows articulate because he trains it to the rest of the world. And he will be talking about the hidden gems, things you may not be aware of, and how to work more efficiently. Now, no one knows everything about Storyline, especially me. So this evening, we are very fortunate to have with us Jodi Sansone, and her email address is in the chat window. Now, Jodi, she will explain to you a renewed interest in accessibility. I'll leave that to her. Uh, Jodi is an ID and e-learning specialist who has been at the top of the Articulate e-learning challenge leaderboard for 10 years. That's a lot of years. She has earned a BA from Northwestern University, an MBA from New York University, and has earned more certifications than we have time to go through. She has helped improve job performance at Leo Burnett Worldwide, Revlon, Omnicom, Seattle Genetics, the U.S. Air Force, and again, many more than we have time to mention. And Jodi also has an extensive tarot card collection, although she makes no claims about being able to see or interpret the future. I understand that she just likes the designs. Tarot
Yep.
cards are pretty. So with that, I will de-share. And Jodi, we look forward to hearing from you.
Okay. And by the way, I am definitely coming to that April 17th session with Ron Price because in June of 2016, I sat in Glen Allen, Virginia with his group for a week, and that's how I got my start on Storyline.
Wow.
And it was a life-changing thing for me. It got me from being kind of like an in-person training specialist to actually putting my hands on Articulate for the first time. So I have a lot of affection for Ron, and He might know everything there is to know about articulate storyline, but you know,
If anyone
maybe
does.
yeah, maybe we could teach him. But he's a terrific guy.
Good.
And
So
that was
ask
it was a
questions.
life-changing 3 days for me. I don't say that about many things, but that was one thing. So
Okay. And
okay, it's a plug for him.
let me just mention that Jody and I would
Mhm.
prefer that you keep your cameras on during this. It's just
Okay,
polite to do that.
okay,
And also
okay.
let me uh, say that comments
Okay.
and questions are encouraged here. This
Oh
is
yeah,
a,
oh yeah. I
we're
mean,
just,
and I like, and I just took a shower at least to do this, so I'm like, didn't so
ooh,
don't be shy. So,
and you
but
look great.
okay. But yeah, thank you. So John asked, I think I've done a couple of these, and when I we connected about a month ago, 3 weeks ago, I don't remember exactly. I was trying to come up with a topic, and uh, I revealed to him that some people who know me from the Articulate community, I've had a really tough personal time over the last 2 years with a neck and an arm injury, and it made it impossible for me to use a mouse, which is a it never even occurred to me that this would be an accessibility issue, not just for myself, but for anybody, because I would sit here and I would type away and I would create all these interactions and storyline. And I'm gonna let Samuel in here because he could be part of my story here. But
Yes,
I
Sam.
wasn't very, hi, Samuel. And I was never considered myself someone who needed any kind of accessibility accommodation whatsoever until I couldn't use my right hand, which is the money-making hand. So it was hard enough, like, not to use my right hand to just navigate a course, but I couldn't even navigate my own courses to proof them. And you guys know, like when you create a course and storyline, you look at it not once, not twice, but 100 times maybe, and you're dragging and moving. And I couldn't use the mouse. I couldn't ring a doorbell. I couldn't hold a cup of coffee. So as I started recovering, it just made me more sensitive to how to like navigate my courses just for me. And then it made me more, just empathetic, I guess, because empathy is not like my big go-to characteristic, but it made me more empathetic for people who might have trouble with using keystrokes. And I'm glad Samuel's on here because I always said it. Samuel was the first person I saw, like in the Articulate Heroes community, actually using keystrokes for a game he did. And I thought, wow, I never do that. Why would anybody want to do that? And now I know why someone might want to do that. He did was doing it for fun to navigate around his game board, but I started incorporating it into my project. So I thought I gave a couple projects that I had worked on recently for John, and we went through them, and those are the ones I'm going to share and just show you like how I tried to maneuver through these e-learning courses rather than using the built-in storyline features like a slide or drag or a drag and drop or even a click with a mouse on a button, like just how I adapted that using the keyboard. So I have and this is bad. Like I've tried every like ergonomic mouse you could find. I've got like the graveyard of keyboards, but I'm just going to use my keyboard and try and do all of this with just keystrokes. So,
And Samuel
okay.
has been a guest speaker in the past as well. So,
Yeah.
Samuel, welcome back.
Good to see you, Samuel. Or good to see you here. Don't really see you, but that's okay. We know you're here. Okay, so I'm going to pull up a project here. And John encouraged me to use this. I'll try and like not get distracted by myself in here, but
Yeah, move to your right a little bit more.
my
So,
right.
yes, uh-huh.
Okay.
There we go. Looking
Okay, let
good.
me see what I'm doing. Okay, it's better. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to share a project that I did, and then we'll look at. I'm just going to do everything with keystrokes. I'll explain to you like what I'm doing, and then maybe we'll learn a little bit about a beautiful piece of art by Pablo Picasso here. So um, this is a this is a project I did last summer. I think I was just recovering, and this was e-learning challenge number 464. I think it was a labeled graphic challenge. So I thought, I really always loved this work by Picasso. Let me see if I can do this, learn about the the painting and then do it all with keystrokes. So the first thing I did, John asked me, um, are there like any best practices for using keystrokes in e-learning? And I went, I don't know. I just do what I'm thinking of in the moment. But I did do a little bit of research with some recommendations. So I am going to open up a light box here using the L. So I just did that. I just looked, here are some suggestions for when you might want to use some common keyboard shortcuts for your projects. A space bar is, good for like moving on. The arrow keys are like the go-to, especially if you're I've seen them. I think that's what I saw Samuel use was the arrow keys for moving around in his game once. Escape is great for getting out of a project or getting to it, going to it back to home or something. I think the tab key is built into Storyline, so you can tab around your slides. Home you can use or just end. I used a couple of these. I'm using the arrow keys in this project and escape. And I'm going to use a C key right now because I built in when I hit the C, it closes that light box. So, okay. So why don't we navigate through here? So you can navigate through. I left a button. You can use the button or you can use the arrow key. So I'm going to use the arrow key to move forward. And the first slide I have here is just a little overview of Guernica. So you see a little slideshow of Pablo Picasso when he painted this. Are people like, are you familiar with this piece of art? Has anyone seen it or
I know of it.
no?
This
Okay.
refers to the Spanish Revolution, right?
Yeah, yeah. So it's actually great. What I like about this little slideshow is you can see how big it is. You can see Picasso is up on the ladder doing it. So yeah, so this painting was Picasso was inspired to paint this when he saw the atrocities of the Spanish Civil War in a little town called Guernica. The Spanish Civil War is one of those conflicts where just when I think I understood who was who and what was going on, then I realize I forget it and then I have to go back to it. But the Francisco Franco, who ultimately became like the dictator of Spain for, I don't know, 40 years or so. He died in 1975. He with the support of Italian and German armies in 1937, bombed a small town in the Basque area of Spain, a little town called Guernica, and he was just about to do a painting for a World's Fair coming up, and this event inspired him. So the first slide. So if this were an e-learning, this is a little bit about Guernica, and I'm going to show you like some of the keystrokes that I use. So I love scroll panels. I always like them. They're basically just sliders. So here's a scroll panel on the side, and if you want, I'm going to drag for a minute. You can drag it. But I thought like, wow, that hurts my arm when I do that. So how can I move this scroll panel without doing that? So I built in the up arrow and the down arrow to move this uh, text box up and down. So I'm just going to hit the down arrow and you can see like how there's a motion path here that's actually moving this up and down.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's nice. And you can adjust the speed with how often
Yeah.
you press the button,
Yeah. And you just
press the
keep
key.
pressing. And, the only thing that I'm sure that there's a way with, and I'm just pressing up right now with JavaScript or something. I just haven't figured out how to do it. The only downside of this is if you keep pressing up, the box keeps moving. That doesn't happen when you're using the scroll panel. So that's kind of like, I guess I should figure out how to deal with that. But it gives you like a little history. I'm just going to use the scroll panel. It won't kill me to do that. So, but
Now, I noticed that thing in the indicator in the scroll bar did not move while you were using the
yeah,
arrow
yeah,
keys.
yeah,
That's a
because the
little
text box,
disorientating.
yeah, the text box is independent, moving independently from the scroll because when we get in, if we go behind the scenes, I'll show you like you had to put the motion path on something, and the only thing I could see you could put it on was the text box. So it's moving independently in there, which is a little weird, but it's this was an experiment. So
It works.
yeah, yeah. And then the other thing I did was I have like an audio behind here. So if you don't want to read, you can listen to the audio. I just recorded the the copy here. So if you toggle the P, that's play or pause. So I'm just going to hit a P, and we won't play the whole thing, but you should. I can't remember if I shared my sound, but you might hear it on my microphone.
Pablo Picasso's Guernica is one of the most powerful anti-war paintings in art history. Created in 19...
Okay, so you can see, so just and this button changes state, so it goes either play it, toggle to P, or pause it. So luckily play and pause have the same, both started with a P, but I just chose P. You could pick everything, anything. Okay. So I'm going to hit the arrow, my right arrow, to go to the next slide. And then now we get into like the painting, where if you were going to do like an e-learning course on this, this might be one way to do it. So because this was a labeled graphic challenge, I made a graphic and I labeled it, and I used some of the built-in markers from Articulate. So if you want to click on them, you can see the little, I forget what that's called, the little animation on it. Like, okay, it's kind of jiggling there. But if for someone who can't use a mouse, the way I built this is you can just use the number keys and just hit 1, hit 2, hit 3, and learn more about each of the vignettes in this painting. Oh, the other thing I did too is, I know sometimes like I feel like it's blasphemy to put like these markers on such a great work of art. So I give people the opportunity to get rid of them with an M, like just M for markers, or show them or put them back on. So sometimes it just doesn't feel right messing with a masterpiece, but hopefully if Picasso were alive, he wouldn't be too upset that at least we're talking about his masterpiece. So, okay, so there are 8 different vignettes in this painting. I'm just going to like go through a couple of them. So I'm going to hit the number 1 up here. And when I hit the 1 key, we learn about the bull in the painting. So each of these vignettes means something. Maybe that's not what Picasso meant it to mean, but art people have been looking at this painting for years and years and years. So every piece of the painting has some kind of interpretation. So I think there's a lot of bulls in Picasso's Cubist paintings later in his life. You see him a lot. So, and he's a Spaniard, so bulls play an important part of their culture. Let's see. And then if you want to get out of this, another keystroke is just an X. So I'm just going to hit that. Let me just pick another one here. I'll pick the number 2. This is the little eye or the light bulb. So this, I think the light bulb or the sun, a lot of people thought that this might mean that the whole world is watching this atrocity, or it could be like if it's the light bulb could be with the sun, it could be hope, but who knows what it means. That's what's great about art. You can try and interpret it. All right, so I think you get the gist of it here. Is there anyone particular anybody's interested in here?
Interested in seeing how you did it.
Oh, okay. Okay, great. This is the end. So I'm just going to go to the final page. Yep, I'll
Oh,
show
sure.
you.
Please, please.
Oh, I heard like a funny Picasso story. Just occurred to me like when I think when I was doing this last summer, um I was researching what all the symbolism was, and I came across this quotation, and I hope it's not apocryphal because it's really good. So I guess somebody asked Picasso about the symbolism in this painting, and he said, the only people who talk about symbolism are art critics and art agents. When painters get together, all we talk about is where you can buy cheap paint. So I thought that was kind of cute. Yeah. That sounds like, didn't meet him, but it sounded like he's kind of cheeky, and that was cute. So, okay. And then on the last page, all I did here was like I created a link. So if you want to actually go to the museum, and I think John asked me this, like I created like learn more about Guernica. Again, I just use the G key. The G key will activate this link and you can go right to the museum's site. So, okay. So the other thing I built in was, let's go back to the first page, and I built in a back arrow just to go back through, and you could go back to each slide. So
Oh, very
why
nice.
don't we
Yeah.
go, should we look at this one? This is probably the most complicated of the slides. Or do you want to look at the labeled graphic? Any any preferences where to start?
Well, we could do what I call the Winnie the Pooh approach is, well, let's start at the beginning.
Okay. 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 Great. So, okay. All right. I have to undock some of my things so I can see what I'm doing here. Okay. So this looks like the first page. Okay. So I tried to make this panel here as big as I could make it. So hopefully you can, let me see what we're looking at here. I'm going to preview what you're seeing here. Okay. All right. So this slide's simple, right? It's got a title, it's got a picture, it's got a next button or a continue button, and then it's got a little command to move forward using the keystroke. So very easy. So the first trigger, jump to the next slide when the user presses the right button, the right arrow button after clicking on this slide. So actually, once you open up the slide, I guess you've clicked on it. So, or you can, oh, I actually have I must have double copied it. So I've got the same one twice, so we can get rid of that one. We don't need it. Jump to the previous slide, which is when you press the left arrow, but there's no place to go with this one. So this is just a bad copy and paste, but there's no other slide to go to left. So this is the first one. But some of the other ones in here are, here's how I open and close the light box when I started. So open up the light box when the user presses the L key. That's what I did to show you the like kind of like best practices, and then close it. Or you can just use the player that was there. So, okay, so not too much on this one. The next slide will have a little bit more going on. Okay, so this one's got a lot. Okay. Gosh, where to start? Let's start with the scroll bar. Okay, there's a scrolling panel, right? Does everyone know everyone made a scroll panel before, or
It's been
it's,
covered in one of our
yeah,
previous
okay.
workshops, but not everyone has seen that workshop.
Okay, so basically, let me see if I'll take it out. Okay, this is you insert, sorry, I'm getting confused with all my controls here. So a scroll panel comes from the insert key up here, and I think it's over up here somewhere. Insert a scrolling panel, text box, buttons.
Might be
That's it
in,
right there. There it is,
yeah, there
under
we
the
go.
top. There it is. There it is. Okay. So this is all it is. It's like it's a vessel. Consider it a vessel, and you can put anything you want in the scroll panel. So you can size it. So right now, um, I'll tell you what. If I get rid of it, I'm afraid it'll do crazy things. So, but up here, and then you can take your content and place it in the scroll panel and watch if you haven't done it. It sizes to the scroll panel. Okay. So drop in the scroll panel and then whatever you put in it, you'll be able to view it. So I'm actually using I was dragging and my from my trackpad there. So that kind of hurts when I do it. So I didn't want to do it too much. So
Don't hurt yourself.
yeah. But now when I got to the point where I wanted to not use that and I wanted to use a motion path, let me get rid of that again. And I'm going to have to make this small so you can see where the motion path is. So this is a really long, you can see how long this text box is, right? It's super long. So I had to figure out like how to get the motion path in it so it would do what I want it to do. And the motion path is you see it in the animations, and it's right here. Let me see if I can make it bigger now that I made it small enough.
So you're not taking advantage of the scroll panel at all here. You just moving the text box up and down.
Correct. You can use the scroll panel because that'll work independently, right?
Right.
Or you can use the keystrokes and it will move this text box up and down. So here's this is the motion path here that takes it up. And then if I want it to go down, it's like a mirror image motion path. And you can see how small I made it. It looks like to be like about an inch maybe. But when I click the down and the up arrow, it's only going to go up this much or this much. It's just going to inch its way up. So I got the motion path on there. So that's like, you can see like how long that 3 minute, that's 3 minutes of that guy talking, explaining it.
Yeah,
So,
please click the trigger so we can
yeah,
be sure we know what we're looking at.
yeah. So the triggers now. Okay, so move the text box. And I called the text box about Guernica. Along the scroll down, I called the motion path scroll down when the user presses the up key. So on this one, you're pressing the up key and the I must have messed up the naming, but but when you press the up key, let me preview it again so we can see it working. But these
Yeah.
are the two, all it is like two motion paths. Move it up or move it down when you press this key, and you only move it this little inch. Okay?
And you had to set that motion path before you created the triggers so it had a name.
Yeah, yeah. So this one is move text box one about Guernica along scroll up. I called one scroll up and one scroll down. Okay.
Yeah, that's slick.
Yeah. So this was probably the thing that I had to get my head around the most. Let me preview it again so you can see what's going on here. Hopefully I didn't mess it up too much when I moved it out. So oh yeah. Okay, I'm just going to use the keys. I blew the scroll panel. So, but it's just moving up and down. Okay. Wonder what happened to my scroll panel there.
You made it go away.
Yeah. Let's see. Anyway, we saw it before, so
Yeah, no longer important.
well, I'll tell you what. I'm going to put one in. So I'm going to insert
All the way
a
down on the
scroll
right.
panel. There it
There we go.
is. Gonna make it about, okay, that looks like that. Let me get that out of the way. So much for like not using my mouse, so I'm using it now. So this was the hard part for me because you can't just, there's no way to only use keystrokes in your development. Okay, so let's see what this is. It's not exactly sized right, but okay, so I put the scroll panel in. Ron Price will be much better at this than I am, so he's good at talking and teaching. Okay, so there's the scroll panel back. So you can do this and move it all the way up and down, or you can press the down arrow or the up arrow. And the only thing you lose when you're not doing this, like this, if you're going up and down, you can see your progress where you are and it stops. But if you're using the up and down, like if I keep going up, you're going to lose it. So no, that's for another. I'll figure it out eventually. Maybe I'll learn JavaScript or something. I'll bet you someone in the community would know how to do that. So the only other thing I thought was maybe worth talking about on this is I forgot that I had used a variable to manage the audio. So this has nothing to do with accessibility, I guess, and at least through not using a mouse, but I wanted to be able to toggle the audio on and off. So I just created a true false variable. So when this button changes, this is the listen button. And when you toggle it, it changes. There's a true false variable that goes true, not true, true, not true. When it's true, it plays. When it's not true, it stops, it pauses. So that was the only thing. I didn't expect to be doing an audio thing today, but anyway. Okay,
Does it always go all the way back to the beginning, or can you press P to stop at pause?
What I
Precisely.
did was let's see, play video. Oh, and then the video is this is a little video, so that's just playing randomly. Let's see, what does the audio do? The true false variable.
You
It
should be
just
able to pause
pauses.
it.
It just
Pause
pauses.
it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I
Yeah.
think if you refresh the slide, I made it so that would go back, but it's it's like 3 minutes. I didn't think many people would be replaying it, but that might be something like, yeah, reset it could be another command. So, okay, let's look at this little slide here because this was kind of like the whole point of the challenge that we had that week. So these are all storylines built-in markers. Has anyone done like a marker demo?
That has been done in
Yeah,
a previous
yeah,
workshop, but
yeah,
I don't think everybody has seen
yeah,
that one.
yeah. So that's also on the all the way over here on the left. So these are markers up here, and there's all these built-in different style markers. And because I knew I wanted a keystroke, I used the number ones here. So, but there's all kinds of ones you can use.
Yeah, so much to be done with the markers. They're handy.
Yeah, they're fun. They're like, I really like using them. So I know like some people don't. I don't know why, but I really like them in Rise too. I like those labeled graphics where they pulse. So all I did on this one was for each of these markers. So there's, marker one, show the layer. Each marker has a layer associated with it. So this one's marker one is show the layer bull
Oh, nice.
when you click it. And so you can click on it, or here are the keystrokes up here. So show the layer bull, sorry, when the user presses one. So there's two ways to get to this layer, the bull, okay? Or any of these, the light bulb. So you're just clicking on a number or you're typing in a number to get there, and then you just hit the X to get out of it. So I'll play this one again. I think I took the audio out. I'm not hearing the click. I must have taken it out. So, okay. So yeah, so you just, press the one key, read it, X, two
A-
key, X.
And does the X trigger need to go on every single layer, or can that just be on the base layer?
I think it needs to be on the layer you're in because when the layer
Yeah.
comes up, the layer controls,
Yeah, that's how you have it anyway.
yeah. I mean, yeah, I guess you could say you could have it on the base layer and just say every time you hit the X, whatever layer's open, just close it. That might be something you could do. I didn't think of that, and it wasn't that hard to do once I was copying and pasting, but that would be a way to do it. An alternative. Let me go back to this.
That's what we're doing tonight, looking at alternative ways to
Yeah.
do stuff.
And the only other thing I liked about this, I think this was one of the newer storyline features, these little emphasis animations. So I really like these, like when you hover over, like you can get it to pulse
Oh yeah,
or
yeah.
move. So that won't help work with the keystrokes, but like if you're maneuvering around it. Um, and I
Jody,
guess,
can you make those orange circles more transparent, less prominent?
oh yeah, you can size them. Yeah.
Okay.
So you can size them. Let's see if we can, let's see if we can do one. I think you might be able to like, let's see, format. So there's a marker. Oh, where's my
Yeah, once you
format?
select the marker, there's a whole ribbon that comes up that lets you do all
Yeah,
kinds of wonderful things.
yeah, I'm not seeing it on here. So I'm wondering like, let's see, maybe make it bigger. Let me see what we're doing here. I'm a little rusty. I haven't worked in Storyline for 3 months, so I'm
Yeah,
taking some time off. So
that should come up. I'm doing it
under the
myself.
format, right? Yeah.
When you click the marker, that should bring up the corresponding ribbon.
Contrast, insert. Yeah, it's not,
That's strange.
isn't it weird? Yeah, it should be like right in here. Let me see what else I can figure out, like why it might not be doing that. There's my marker. Maybe in the design, home, insert, marker. Let me just like make it blue, see what happens here. Yeah, where's that? I'll have to, anybody got any thought? Yeah, oh, there it is. Okay.
What did you do
I
different?
don't know.
Right. Oh, you created a new marker. It didn't like your old
Yeah,
markers.
let me go Control Z and get out of here. See, like we can figure this out. Okay, so there it is. Format. Hmm. Maybe it's in the home. Oh, here it is up here. It's up here in the top right. Okay, so the shape fill. So if I want, I think you were asking about transparency, right?
Yeah,
So that would
Erwin
probably
was.
make it, yeah, let's make it blue and, oh, that's making the background transparent. That's changing it. So that's not quite what we wanted. I have to go back and look. Obviously it did it when I created it. So let me right click and see if there's something else on here. I guess I'm a little rusty, so
Well, I was really just
mhm,
curious about the design concept of like
yeah,
when people look at this image, you're putting stuff on the image that blocks their view in a way.
yeah, yeah,
So, from a design perspective, I would think a more less prominent way of doing that would be um, more appealing to
yeah.
people.
And that's why I put this little feature, and this is a true false for to get rid of them.
Right.
But like it was funny when I was doing this, the black and white, as I read about this, actually I've seen this painting, so
Oh,
it's when the black and white was supposed to be like newspaper and very stark because he was reading about this in the newspaper, and I picked this red crimson to represent blood because it had contrast.
yeah.
So that was like my interpretation. But
Well,
yeah,
that's
there
fine. Yeah.
definitely is
Wait a moment. I found it. If you can click on the a marker that pulls up the ribbon, I think you'll have
okay.
to create one.
Insert. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I
here's
don't
like
know.
here, I'll just put one on here.
Okay.
I'll just put an arrow on here. So
Yeah.
yeah, so maybe here's like that when you
Yeah.
when you make
Click.
it new, you
Did you
can,
see to the right there? It says marker fill.
yeah,
Mar Fill. Yeah. There. Now you see there's a trans. Yeah. You're right
yeah,
on it.
you can do that. And you
That
can
makes it
change the
transparent.
icon color. You can make it white. Um, I think like, yeah, that's interesting. So that would be, I made them big because not just because they look, gross and, obtrusive, but, I was trying to like think through like on someone on on a smaller screen, like how big should they be? So that would be something if I were working with um, like a team, I would go, okay, what do we think about the size here? Is this okay? Or should we change that? So yeah, but you should be able to, there we go. Okay. We should be able to change it. I don't know like why it wouldn't let me change the other ones, but
Jody, I have
yeah.
a different question if it fits
Mhm.
into your presentation, which is what was the task you were given and how did you get from whatever that request was or the idea to
Yeah.
designing it this way?
Um, the the challenge that week was to show how e-learning designers use labeled graphics in e-learning. So imagine a labeled graphic could be, I like, it's a great way to explain a piece of art, and get people to zone in on it. You could do it if you have a floor plan, maybe, and you want to, draw people's attention to certain, like if you had a shop floor and you go, this is the safety room, this is the eye wash station and all that. You might use it for that. So that's how, and that day I was thinking like, I always wanted to do something about Guernica. So, labeled graphic. Oh, I
There we
got my
go.
concept. So
Okay,
I can,
thanks.
yeah. So there's, yeah, for anything like a floor plan or a structure, you could do it for how to make a kite. I've seen a demo on that. Those are the ones that come to mind. I think I did use them for like a 3D floor plan once that just showed to show people where everything was. So,
Well, in
okay.
the last 15 minutes, I'm sure everybody wants to know what a merkin is.
Oh, okay, great. Okay, so I'll bring up this other one then. So I'm going to stop share and pull this other one up.
Yeah.
So again, in the spirit of, oh my gosh, I can't believe my arm is killing me. How am I going to make a drag and drop? Um, this is a project that was also out of the e-learning challenges that was about drag and drops, and I was not going to do it. And then I thought, oh, I went out for dinner at this place called the Merkin Vineyards. It's in Cottonwood outside of Sedona, John. So when you're in Flagstaff, you can, if you want to go there.
I'll put on my
So
best merkin and go.
yeah, so I think I was the last person on earth to know what a merkin was. So if any of you don't know what it is, I just learned, and I'm old, and I thought, how did I not know? I never even heard this word. I thought it was like an SAT word or something. So this is called Trust for Success, and it'll explain like what a merkin is. And then I never really figured out like how to do a drag and drop without dragging and pressing. So I just did an alternative way to do it. So my keystrokes are the same. I'm going to use the next arrow to um, move forward. And here, I didn't know like if people would be sensitive about this topic. So I just did a little cheeky, like, you don't have to go through it, but if you're okay in learning about body hair and things like that,
Yeah, smart to do
a
that.
merkin's okay. Okay. So I'm just going to go for it. Assume it, if you're offended, just, I don't
Now
think
would
it'll
be
be
the
so.
time to leave the presentation.
Yeah. So here is a slider on the history of the merkin. And basically it's a pubic wig. Like, again, like I didn't know this. I thought like, how did I get to be this old and not know what this word meant? So I thought like before I get into the drag and drop, I should explain what one is and the history of them, which they do have a history. So I'm just going to use keystrokes to move the slider. So this is a classic slider. You can drag it, but I'm moving it now with keystrokes. So there's number one. And this is how I found out about it. The server at the Merkin Vineyards told me what it was, and I should have had a clue when I saw this. I've been there a million times and didn't know that. But actually, Merkins have quite a history. And then this little keystroke, I'm just keystroking this, moving that slider with the keystroke. Okay, so there's that. Let me go to the next slide then. And now we have to figure out, so here's like, I really couldn't figure out how to do it after I'd had my concept. So I thought, let me give you two options here. So I'll show you the drag and drop first, and you get there with a D, and then I'll show you how I did it with the keystroke. So I have Charlie and Sam here, and these are all these kind of merkins, and you can drop one on, well, okay, drop them on Sam or drop it on Charlie and just have some fun with it. And when you're done, you can just press the next button, and then, they you never know like what's underneath. So it's just a little fun with merkins. So, but then I'll show you like the other one, how to how I did it with keystrokes then, which is not exactly what it's just an alternative. Like I said, I just couldn't see like doing 20 motion paths times two. So let's go see. I'm going to hit the K and we're going to go to the keystroke option. I see I'm getting close on time, John, so I'm aware, so.
Okay, thank you.
So all I did on this one is I'm just gonna toggle a C if you want to put a merkin on Charlie and an S for Sam, and all I'm gonna do is hit the C and the S button, and then you can change what merkin that they wear.
Oh, that works.
Yeah, the good one is this one I thought was good is you can give them matching merkins. You couldn't do it with the other one because I didn't think that hard about it. But at least like Charlie and Sam can have a match and then they go out and have fun and go to their red carpet event and
Oh,
with
that's
their merkins
romantic.
underneath. So again, it was just like how to provide like an alternative for someone maybe who can't drag. So, and what would you like me to do in like
The
5 minutes?
the triggers that you set up to do the
Okay.
one that other than the key press, how did you do the drag and drop?
Oh, okay. Let's look at that one then.
It looked as if maybe you would have a drop down. Well, a drop down would require clicking as well, wouldn't it?
Yeah, so this one is just okay. Yeah, so each of these merkins is an object, right? Oh,
Yeah.
I put a veil across it so that you couldn't touch it right away, but if I'll get rid of that. So each of these merkins is an individual object. So I named them like by the pattern, tiger merkin, and this is the drop zone. So, oh, that's a marker, but let's see, where's my drop zone? Oh, actually, I don't even really have a drop zone because I didn't really need it. You're just moving it around. And this was just like a marker that would swirl that gives you the target place. But I think like you can um, yeah, so as you move these merkins over the first, you're going to hear a little shimmer sound. All this is doing, you're moving it, you hear a shimmer, but it's not like scoring a quiz or anything. So you could probably put these merkins anywhere you want. All that is that little marker is just telling you this is a good place to put it. So you could put it, oh, it's like, yeah, it's not in the right place. So there it is a drop. So let me look at it again. So
Yeah, you do have a drop zone there. Maybe you
yeah,
made it
yeah.
invisible.
Let's see, lattice. There's all the names of the merkins. Play the audio, play the audio, play the audio. Show the layer.
So what again is the user doing to select the merkin for one or the other?
So, okay.
That's doing the
Set the
sound
state of
effect.
the male target to hidden. This is the target. Okay, that's the target spot. Okay, so what this does is it's got a target spot, which is this little marker. When you drag a merkin on top of it, it hides this and leaves the merkin in place. Okay.
Oh, okay.
And
But
when it moves from it, I'll open up this one.
but how do you click and drag without the mouse?
You can't.
Oh, okay.
That's what I'm saying. Like, that's why
Yeah.
I couldn't figure out how to do it. What you could
Oh,
do,
okay.
here's what I was thinking. You could insert a motion path on it. But when I
Yeah.
started doing that, here, I can put a motion path on a line on that. Um, so I could have done something like this. And then, and then maybe said, this is merkin number one. Hit the number one and it would move the merkin over to that spot. But then I thought I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 20 of them.
A lot of
And I'd
work.
have to do the motion path there, motion path back, one here, one here. And I thought like, I can't physically, I couldn't do that many. My arm was just killing me.
No.
So I went to plan B and I thought, what's a way to do it to kind of simulate the experience
Right.
of seeing it merkin? And this one is just like a true is a set of states. So this merkin's got like all kinds of states on it. And when you right? When you're toggling the C, it's a number variable that's changing the state of the merkin. So
Yeah, very
I,
interesting to see states used for something other than buttons.
yeah, I just couldn't think of it. So sorry, like, I forgot, like, when I looked at this, I'm actually getting reacquainted with my own project. So, but yeah, like this, just making that little motion path right now was really like hurting just because the inflammation in my arm. So I have to
Yeah.
pace myself on that. So
Well, thank you very much
yeah,
for endangering your health
yeah.
for us, and we hope this was not too painful for you.
No. And I'm happy to, if anybody wants these, my files are like all over the place. I'm happy to like share them if you want to see them or you want to play with them, or if they're not they're challenge 464 and whatever they were last summer, they're loaded in the e-learning community. Because I was just like put them in there. They're just for fun anyway. But
Well,
yeah,
you're
so I
good.
like really like I decided to take 6 months off. I'm giving myself till June 15th to get my arm better. I had a small project. I missed the challenges. I really love doing them, but I just needed to take some time off. And I don't even like look at them because I know if I look at them, I'm going to want to do them. And then I saw one like, how many more tabs interactions can I do? It's too many. But I'm thinking like June 15th, if it's not, my arm's not better, I'm probably just going to have to, hang it up.
Yeah.
I don't know what else to do, so let it heal. So,
The world
but
needs your e-learning challenges, but you
they're
need your
fun.
health. So
Yeah. I miss
focus
it. I
on
was
that.
gonna I always said when I stopped working, I was gonna learn how to play an instrument. Well, that's out because you need a right hand for that.
Yeah,
I was gonna like, do something artsy, but that's out. So I'll figure it out. It's getting better. I needed to do finally what I wouldn't do before, which was rest it. So
yeah, what you do in storyline's pretty artsy. Or
oh, but I'm gonna see you all on the 17th because Ron Price is worth seeing. So I'll even like help promote that one. He's a great guy.
oh, thank you very much. Yeah, I felt
Yeah,
very fortunate to get him to agree to do this.
yeah, yeah. So great, thank you. And I didn't know like everybody on here, so it's great to see some new folks. I saw like who was from Chicago and someone from Minnesota. Like, whoa, John, your reach is like you're going
Yeah,
global.
we are national. Yes,
Uh,
we're open all comers here. We
okay.
welcome everybody
Great.
interested in storyline. So, Jody, thank you very much.
Sure,
I really appreciate you, and I'm sorry you
sure.
had to jeopardize your health and comfort, but
No, it's good. It's good. So, but just like
certainly,
when I think everything's better, I'm like, no, that hurt. So
yeah.
ask me
Okay,
in 3 months. So
okay.
thank
Well,
you.
okay. Hope to see everybody in another month,
On the
April
17th,
17th. Yeah.
highly recommend getting to know Ron better. So thank you.
Okay. Nighty night, everybody.
Yeah,
Thank you for participating. Very appreciated. Yeah, we are no longer recording.
we are gone.
Yeah, now,